Hi everyone, Scott Woods here from Hawk Ridge Systems, and today I'm going to be comparing two different photorealism applications. That's SOLIDWORKS Visualize and Keyshot. There really is no arguing that both of these applications can create high quality, professional level photorealistic renderings from nearly any kind of 3D model. So how is someone supposed to decide on one or the other? Especially since their price is just about the same. The true cost of a rendering isn't just the price of your software, but how much time is invested in developing the outputs. Since we all know time is money, any reduction in importing time, ease of use, and rendering time can make drastic differences in the final true cost. All of these factors have been taken into consideration to produce this product comparison video, and you might be surprised with what we found. Let's go through a couple examples of renderings pulled directly off each product's website. Looking at these, they all look very nice. When comparing these renderings side by side, they appear to be competitive with each other. You might even lean toward one product or the other. I find myself asking, what is the true cost of each of these images? I think like most of us, I've seen stunning images that have been produced from various rendering applications. Some of these even from free open source programs. But how much time and effort has to be invested into each of these images is impossible to tell when just looking at the end product. I guess my point is, just because you find this awesome looking image online, the program that made that image might not be the right choice for your situation. Okay, let's take a deep dive into each of these programs. Now, I have nearly 3 hours of recorded video that I need to cover in just a few minutes. So these are going to be playing fast and will vary in speed as we focus on each. To keep things on track and honest, I have a timer recorded into each video. To keep things clear, anything Keyshot will stay on the left, and anything SOLIDWORKS Visualize will stay on the right from here on out. First, let's focus on importing. I will be importing the exact model into both programs, and to keep things fair, I have used a universal step file type. So let's go ahead and fast forward through the boring importing process and get to the import process times. Okay, there we go. We have imported the step file into both applications. Now, SOLIDWORKS Visualize imported the file just under 3 minutes faster. Now, 3 minutes isn't a huge amount of time, but this wasn't a huge model. And if we think about this in the terms of percentage, Visualize imported the model 18% faster than Keyshot did. And that could be a huge deal when dealing with some large models. Now let's go ahead and move on to the user interface. I found when working in both applications, they were actually very similar to each other. They have the same mouse controls, similar materials, and pretty much the same way to apply these materials. Setting up cameras and applying scenes is just about the same as well. The user interface is very similar. If you learn one program, you should be able to pick up the other pretty quickly. The quality of the materials and appearances is where I found that SOLIDWORKS Visualize really had the upper hand, especially when it comes to post-processing. When you apply a material in Visualize, it tends to map really well, where in Keyshot it takes a bit more adjusting, and especially the wood materials seem to be low quality, so I can't quite get the grain the way I want it. Materials are easy to find online and modify for any rendering application, so this really isn't a huge deal, but if you want something that works directly out of the box, I would go with SOLIDWORKS Visualize for the appearance and scenes. Putting quality aside, I'm going to call the initial project setup for both applications a draw. Their user interfaces are quite similar, and the time invested for each project setup is just about the same. Now it comes down to rendering times and final quality output. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through both of these videos because I doubt anybody wants to sit and watch these render. So this is where the time differences really start to become apparent. I rendered both of these with the exact same settings, or at least as close as I could get. And Visualize took about half the time that Keyshot took in order to produce this image. And there's a really good reason for this. So Keyshot only uses the computer's processor, while Visualize uses both the processor and the graphics card. So Keyshot is completely ignoring half of what my computer is actually able to do. Comparing these two, I'm going to have to go with Visualize. But that doesn't mean that Keyshot can't do better than this. I use pretty much out-of-the-box settings in both applications, so this is what you can expect to produce without going back in and fine-tweaking all the material, lighting, and camera settings. And really, this is because the ability to utilize both the graphics card and the processor is hands down the way to go. It reduces rendering times by at least half, and that can be greatly increased with some of these high-end graphics cards. In summary, both programs have a very similar user interface. Both come with a very good material library. Keyshot comes with more materials, but I feel Visualize comes with higher quality materials and automatically applies them better without additional tweaking. The ability to utilize the graphics card, GPU, and Visualize for rendering is unmatched and allows for Visualize to render much faster. So that's my review for both applications. Of course, I stayed pretty high level in this review and I didn't dive into many of the advanced options for both applications. This is by no means a review of the highest quality output, but is focused on the drag and drop out of the box settings.